BullsEye Pod, episode 6. How are you, Vinya? You well?
Good, thanks. How are you?
What a week.
Yeah.
North-South
Good,
derby.
thanks. How are you?
I'm well, thanks.
Thanks.
Almost awkward sort of podcast history. Huge week. North-South derby doesn't get bigger than that case. Maybe for you, a word on that, because we've had so much heartbreak in this. What does this game mean to you personally?
Yeah, Marcus, means a lot. Like you said, heartbreak. All four games we played against him, we've lost. But we have played all 3 in Cape Town and 1 at home. All those 4. So we've got to take that into consideration as well. But it just means a lot, Marcus. It's a big game. It's the 2 probably best teams in South African rugby at the moment, coming up against each other, close to each other in the standings.
Yeah.
So it could really impact what happens later on in the competition, the knockout round. So it's a massive game, and it's going to be tears of joy or tears of sorrow. But hopefully not tears of sorrow.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to take one of those big moments. Like a Christmas drop goal. I think it's going to be something like that. Wild try. Yeah. Something's going to define this. I mean, it's a game that neither team wants to give an inch. Jake's spoken about how it really is do or die. Like we have to win this game.
Yeah, we have to.
And I think we will. We're going to do it in front of 40,000 people. We sold 33,000 tickets at the time of recording. It'll obviously be more when this goes out, when this episode airs. But we're going to get 40,000 in. So 40,000 at Loftus. We're saying it's going to break URC records for a regular season game. Yeah. It's going to be the biggest crowd at Loftus, excluding test matches, since 2013. We're thinking about it. We might be wrong. If there's a statistician. Yeah.
Which game would that be in 2013? Because in 2013,
I don't know.
LCR.
But they're saying, so it's been almost a decade. Biggest crowd at Loftus outside of a test, almost a decade. And if you haven't got your tickets, make sure you go get them now. It's going to be a festival of rugby.
Yeah. And the last time we lost a game at Loftus was against the Sharks. Yeah, was it against the Stormers, Marky?
Could have been the last. We lost to the Stormers in Jan.
Yeah, that's the last time we lost. Yeah, and February. That's the last time we lost.
And we haven't played the Stormers in over a year at Loftus. Yeah. So all to play for. It's going to be mammoth, and I can't wait. But before we chat more about our bets and we look ahead to the games this weekend, we've got some phenomenal guests. The first one being Jake White. So listen to that. It's going to be an incredible chat. It's another point in the show where we introduce our guest. World Cup winner, Vodacom Super Rugby Unlocked winner, Colin Curry Cup winner. Took us to the final of the URC in our first season. It is, of course, our coach, Jake White. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. The first question, your health battle has been well documented. So firstly, a month out of game, month hiatus. You're back now in, I think, one of the biggest weeks in this franchise's history. How are you, and how is it to be back?
Oh, look, I mean, as I said, you couldn't package it any better. I mean, that's the week I would love to have been back. And as it's turned out, I said it just now, 40,000 people coming watch a North-South derby. Missed it. I mean, obviously missed it. It's not nice not to be here. Health is good. New perspective on things. I know Willem Strauss, our president, said something was wrong because he thought I was under, narcotics, saying that rugby is not the most important thing in my life. But saying that, rugby is still very important in my life. Always has been. And I missed it. So it's nice to be back, feel the energy, and as you say, fantastic opportunity. Great. I hope it's packed. I hope we can get more than 40,000 people, because I think what I'm trying to teach these youngsters is that's what it was like when I was a young guy. It was these North-South derbies was just a different challenge altogether, and I'm hoping we can give it the kudos it deserves.
And then on that point on your health, I read that letter that you penned back at the union. It honestly makes you shiver just to read some of these things. You said there were 3 miracles that occurred about the clot not going to your brain, not going into your colon, and not rupturing while you were on the plane. Because you said there'd be nothing anyone could do for you if that had happened. So just a word on that.
Yeah, well, so just on, the doctor was just, I joked with him. First thing I asked is, did the Stormers win? Then he obviously giggled. And then I said, look, should I go and buy a lotto ticket? And he laughed. He said, listen, you've used your lotto ticket. Then he explained to me, if that clot had gone to my heart, you probably get a heart attack, go to your brain, you have a stroke. If it had gone to my lung, my lung had died like my small intestine died, then obviously you can end up dying as well. So that was the first miracle, that the blood clot, and it sounds weird, but it went to my small intestine out of all my organs. And still it could have been catastrophe, But saying that, it went there, then my piece of that died, about 30 centimeters had to be cut out. Then, as he said, it was blocked because it was dead. If something had happened in the aeroplane, there was no ways that I would have been able to, because of the septicemia would have set in. So that was the second miracle. And then, as I said, the third miracle was that there's nothing more that could have gone wrong. It was sent off to the lab, no cancer, no heart problems. They had to find out where the clot came from. So as I said, you said to me, you're very, very lucky. As much as it's been a difficult time, so many more things that could go wrong. And as I said in that article, that I wrote, three hits, and then I got a free ride. So hopefully it's a nice way to get back into. I coach rugby. I wear tracksuits. I coach a national game in a country that loves rugby. It can't get any better.
Yeah. And on that point, you mentioned that perspective has maybe shifted slightly. I read your autobiography a while ago. I actually used this one quote when I was 16 in front of the class, which was, you said, so I'm paraphrasing, of course, but you said that rugby is almost all you think about. Sometimes you dream about rugby, and you said you don't know where you would be without it, but you think you'd be a very miserable person or something along those lines.
Yeah.
So
I would be.
Has your perspective changed? Was that
No. I think rugby, the interesting thing, as I said in that article, which is quite interesting. Remember, we always use quotes about we've got to die for each other, or we got to, this is life and death and all that. It's all meaningless if it's just a word, So yeah, it hasn't changed. Rugby's been really good to me. I think rugby also taught me to fight through this. When I say fight, listening to the noises, thinking about what could go wrong. It's easy to talk it, and to express it, but to actually live it is different. So. One of the things I share with the players when I got back is it's not the real world rugby. I'm talking about for them. Planes, first class, or, getting off, buses waiting for you, get to a hotel, your food's made, you get your kit given, you get told what to wear, you get a daily program. Now, it's wonderful. It's a great thing for a young boy. But it's not real world. It can get taken away like that. And I think that's probably the one lesson I want them. I want them to play as though, often again, the last phrase, the phrases we use often, it's like your last game. But that's how close it is. And I think when you've been through what I've been through, I can say to them, play like it's your last game, because you never know.
Yeah, 100% coach. You spoke about the Stormers rivalry, so I'm going to move on from that. So in the EuroRC this season, SA teams, there's been a lot of chat about SA teams making the EuroRC a whole lot better, and SA teams, even making European rugby a whole lot better. Do you think that's a fair statement that's been made, especially by the media guys like Sway, saying that the SA teams has really made the EuroRC a lot better?
You listen to what other coaches say. I was listening to Hugo Mollo, who coaches Toulouse, says having South African teams in the Heineken Cup and the EPCR is obviously making the tournament better. There's no doubt, guys. There's 300 guys, South African players playing abroad. Yeah. That just shows you the quality of players we produce. Hopefully Saturday we get 40,000 people. We get 40,000 people. It's the biggest crowd that's come to watch a URC game. So again, that accolade comes to the Bulls. It means that our stadium get 40,000 people. It's always been talk about other teams, and all that sort of thing. So it's great for us that we can get 40,000 or close to 40,000. Yeah. And we do add value. The way we, every competition, last year we got 2 teams in the final. Yeah. Every competition we've got, Sharks have gone through in the top 16. Stormers have gone through in the top 16. The Bulls have gone in their first year of Heineken Cup, or EPCR. It just shows you how strong rugby is in our country. And there's no doubt we add value. We add value to the competition. We add value from a fan base point of view. I just earlier said, I think once the public understands how everything fits in. Now people say to me, what is EPCR and why do you play in the middle of the EuroC? And I don't think they've got their heads around the fact that 6 nations and you've got to play these different competitions. Once they understand, what you play for, the ability to qualify for Champions Cup, the ability to win a Champions Cup when you get into the last 16, then they'll start to see how great it is to be part of this Northern Hemisphere best of the best.
So you mentioned potentially 40,000 at Loftus this Saturday. It's still one of maybe even the biggest draw card in domestic rugby globally. We've lost our last 4 games against the Stormers, but 3 of them were...
Okay. No, I didn't know. I forgot about that. I've been sick. I've
got a counter. So our last 3 were all away from home.
Exactly.
We've played fewer home games than any other team in this competition in the URC.
Yes.
A word on the detractors who's saying that we've lost our last 4. It's a lost cause before it starts. All of that. What does this game mean to you and this union?
Well, it's do or die for us. The bottom line is they got 50 points, we got 40 points. We want to win the conference. We've got to beat them this weekend. And the detractors. There'll always be the detractors. I think one thing I also learned lying in that bed is that if we had been unbeaten and I died, would it have made a difference? The reality is that's how life is. So they've won 3 home games. I think our record, and I'm not sure, but our record since I've been coaching here and even before me in the glory days, you didn't win at Loftus. And it's one of the things we're really proud of. So I know the Stormers have also got a good record, but I think if I remember correctly, the detractors will remember we won the last game at Newlands they ever played. we won the first game in Cape Town they ever played. And so they've got short memories about how things work, So, but saying that, we've played 3 away games. We lost the last game here in the death with 2,000 supporters. So when you put things in perspective, we're going to do what we're going to have to do, and we know what we have to do to win on the weekend. We're going to have to play as well as we can, and we've prepared well.
No, 100%, coach. And then I want to look at, the Currie Cup is starting next season, right? I mean, next month,
Next month, yeah.
So what are the plans going forward for the 3 competitions, right? So in terms of rotation of squad, how are you going to manage that, sir?
To win.
It's to win. Win all 3. All three.
That's it. That's it.
I love it.
There's no, I mean, like, what am I tell you?
Yeah.
Bottom line, if you enter a competition, you want to win it. So we're going to try and be as clever as we can. There's no rotation policy. There's no, if we need to, it's fine. But at the end of the day, we put our names in. Like last year, we were so disappointed. The Currie Cup, and we were the only team that put our best players in every week. Get to a away game against Leinster, and then they pull the plug. But saying that, we are at a union. Speaking to my president, my CEO, my shareholders, we take the Currie Cup seriously, and we're going to take it as seriously as we can in order to win it.
Yeah, 100%. And on that note, you look at that game against Lyon. You know what I mean? A so-called B team. So, what was the thinking behind that? Because that was a stroke of genius. You know what I mean? No one believed that we could pull that off, and we did against a strong Lyon side on Loftus. What was the thinking behind that?
Well, the thinking is not so much just for Lyon. It's about growing these players over the next couple of years. I just said to an interview now, Morne's playing his 150th game. I'm not meaning he's got like 200 and something games, but if you take Super Rugby and URC, it's 150th game. Now, that's not the norm in our country, and it should be the norm. Guys should be playing 100, 200 games for this province because it's one of the biggest provinces in the world. Now, the reason I'm doing that is we're trying to build a team that will be competitive over a long period of time. So the Reinhard Ludwigs and the Cameron Hannekoms and that are youngsters and the Jan Hendrik Wessels and all that, they're going to be part of this union for a long, long time. And so it's not just about the Saturday against Lyon. It's about where we're going to be in 5 years' time. And sometimes you've got to take a couple of knocks. Sometimes you get it right. Sometimes you get it wrong. And the interesting thing is, I mean, when we started that, people said we were crazy, and now every other franchise is doing it, and it seemed to be visionary. So, I mean, we've just got to make sure that we know where we're going, and we do. As a board, as a group, as a CEO with me and a president with me, we want to be the most dominant South African team in the next couple of years without falling, highs and lows all the time.
You mentioned rotation in terms of teams and squads. There's also, in your career, been a lot of rotation in terms of players in positions, like Cornel Hendricks moving to 12, David Krill moving to 12, Jan Hendrik moving across the back row. Is one of those, Policeman as well, is one of those reasons to actually make the player a better player in their number 1 position because they can understand space and understand, like for instance, Jan Hendrik Wessel scrummaging at tight end. You thought that would make him a better loose head because he's now scrummaging in another position. Is that the main reason or motivation?
Well, it's a bit of both. I think, to be fair, I think with the way we pick our teams now, we need versatility. There's no doubt in my mind about that. You need versatility. I think the other thing is appreciation of what position you play and understanding what role you play when you're in another position. So if you're an outside back, how influential inside backs are in that. But also it's my philosophy on the way the game's going now. If you look at, again, not copying anybody, but you look at great teams. They've got guys who can play in different positions. One of the best Australian teams that ever played had 4 fullbacks playing in their backline. Had Larkham, who played fullback, had Matthew Burke, had Joe Roth, and had Chris Latham. So, that's been done before. It's not like I'm reinventing the wheel or I'm starting with a new idea. I mean, the bottom line is good coaches and good teams have done that for many, many years. And that's one of the philosophies we're bringing in at the Bulls is we must be good enough to play with a different number on our backs.
Last question before we let you go, Coach. You've committed recently to this union long term. Why did you make that commitment? What does this union mean to you? Why is this marriage so successful?
No, it's very simple because, I've got a board, I've got shareholders that understand, I've got a CEO and a president that want to build this union into, as I said, the best union in South Africa. Part of that is how we do succession planning. And succession planning is how long I stay, who I stay with, which kind of players we sign, who we want to try and recruit the next couple of years. And everyone's on the same page. I think it's nothing harder than for a coach, if you've got a plan that you want to be the top team in 5 years' time, but they don't have the money to buy the players or they don't have the vision to keep the players or whatever the story is. And so it's been an easy fit for me. I think the one thing the Bulls have learned over the years is they were dominant. They were the strongest team in the early 2000s. They dominated. Won 3 Super Rugby titles. And then for 10 years, never won anything. So I think that still hurts the people that are involved. it still hurts the people that are supporters. And from us, we just never want that to happen again. You know, we've won reasonably, quite a lot in the last couple of years. We would like to win more, but what we don't want to create is that it goes in batches. We basically get to 2 years' time from now and we got nothing. You know, so that's part of my thinking, is that there's a buy-in from everybody to make sure the Bulls, as I said, best team in South Africa by a long shot, and definitely one of the best teams in the world.
What a way to end. Thank you so much. We know your time's valuable. Thank you for joining us, Coach.
Thank you so much.
Okay, next guest time. It's the man who almost single-handedly won us our last game at Newlands, took us to the brink of Vodacom URC glory, the Dean Street hooligan, Chris Smith.
Yes, sir.
How's it going? Cheers, thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming. Sax. Okay, perhaps you ask. You're the big school guy.
Yeah, Sax, you know, as a ex-Ronald's prep boy, Redden boy, and you went to Redden prep, right?
I did indeed,
So,
yes.
Anyway, but let's chat about Sax, because I'm pretty sure those were all your rugby memories started, your big ones. I want to chat about playing a Memorial A and what your most memorable game on Memorial A was in your matric year.
Yeah, I think I got a clear memory of that one. It was in my grade 11 year, actually.
Okay.
We were playing, I think, in the second term, we played Bishops on the Piley Reese. I wasn't part of that game, but I think we took like 60 points there. They had quite a good side that year. And then in the third term, they came to play Memorial A. And I was playing that game. I think we were down probably 13-0 halftime. And we scored a last minute, had a nice comeback, scored a last minute try to beat Bishops at home. Which is quite special. I had quite a decent game that game, and so that was probably my one of my best memories there at Saxon Memorial A.
Yeah, that's awesome, Chrissy.
And no Craven Week or Academy Week.
Yeah, none of that. I sort of progressed quite nicely in the trials, but unfortunately in my year we had Andre Pollard, Jean-Luc Duplessis, Dennis Cox. There's a guy from Boland. Boland Lampa is actually a cricketer now, Jan Freiling. So quite talented players. I didn't manage to make Academy or Craven Week.
So you go to Marty's. That's what you spent 5 years there, right?
Yeah, from first year 2014, and then I left 2018 to go to the Pumas.
And you got an injury 2014.
End of 2014. So played that Varsity Cup season. Then we took part in the Super A League, the Western Province Super A League. Then got a call up for Western Province Under 21. Played against Border, and did my ankle in that game. And it was quite a bad ankle injury, and I was probably out for about 9 months. Ended up missing the 2015 Varsity Cup, and
you had to work your way back to.
I had to. And then 2015 we had Adam Stapelberg, Brandon Thompson come and play Varsity Cup, 2 SA and 20 Flavs. So it didn't get any easier, and then sort of 2016 sort of slowly built a bit of form and managed to play a bit more than
It's never really been easy for you, has it though?
No, it hasn't. But I don't regret my journey or my path. I've competed with a lot of very, very good Flavs, which has probably benefited my game. I've enjoyed the path. It's Marty's, going to the Pumas, then ending up in the Bulls, competing with all these brilliant Flavs has been really good. And obviously met a lot of good people along the way.
I always want to have a message for the youngsters. Like, how do you mentally? How do you get through those hard times when you know there's so many guys ahead of you? You know what I mean? But you push through it, and look where you are now. Do you know what I mean? Especially for the young kids.
I'm not the best at giving sort of nice, wise words, but I guess everyone's on their own clock. Doesn't help you compare yourself to other players and whatnot. I mean, you look like a Pollard, sensational player. He broke through very early at 20 years old. Some guy, I've only started playing senior provincial rugby at 24 at the Pumas. Came to a big union when I was 26. You know what I mean? So everyone's on their own clock. Don't compare yourself to others, and I don't know. Cliche process, and you end up where you need to be.
Do you reckon you've got an underdog mentality?
100%.
Yeah. That's how you like to see yourself, right?
Probably not. Like, I wish I backed myself more. 100%. Probably don't back myself as much as I should.
Pretty ballsy to take a drop goal in a quarterfinal.
But obviously my whole journey and path had probably led me to that moment. You know what I mean? Everything I've been through, it probably, accumulated, and luckily that thing went over. It could have ended very differently, but luckily it went over, and probably my greatest rugby memory. That.
Yeah, but you say you don't back yourself. I mean, you're playing in a position where you have to back yourself the most. You're a general, and someone was saying, I'm not going to say because it was part of the voting process here. You'll see later. Was saying like how well prepared you are, how you galvanize a team around you. I mean, you need to be pretty confident to be.
I've probably spoken out a bit much there, saying I don't back. Yeah, I mean, obviously I probably need to show confidence in how I play and whatnot. But I know I need to back myself more because I'm sometimes starting for the Bulls, the Blue Bulls, probably the one franchise in South Africa with the proudest history, and I've been fortunate to start in that 10 jersey. So I definitely don't give myself enough credit. But I guess that's just how I set my standards and how hard I am on myself.
So that actually voted you as the MVP.
Yeah,
we won't give it away.
We won't give it away.
Okay. What next? Losing. Okay. Varsity Cup. You won the Varsity Cup in 2018. You're also a top point scorer, weren't you?
2018.
2018,
it must have been, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a very good side.
What was that like? What was that moment? Was that like 5 years of blood, sweat, and tears culminating in that?
100%. Yeah. So obviously 2014, we also had quite a good side. Rob Dupre was the starting 10 there. Lost in the semis to UCT on the Green Mile. 2015 I didn't play. 2016 we were in the final against Puka on the Donny Craven. Adam Stapelberg was meant to start that game. He unfortunately tore his quad in the warm-up. I had to fill in and start, and we lost obviously in the 88th minute, which was heartbreaking. I got a funny picture of me bent over crying. 2017 we come up to Pretoria to play Tuks in the final. Also had a very good side that year, so did they. And we probably backed ourselves to win that, but they ended up winning, I think, 24-17. So now that's 2 finals we lost in a row. But Coach Harvey's in 2018 built quite a strong multi side. We had a very, very good forward pack, good backs, and we were fortunate to pull it through and finally win the Varsity Cup 3rd time lucky.
Is that year it was Chris Smith playing outside?
Yeah, Chris. Yeah. Me and Chris, we got a very good friendship, good relationship. We understood how each other played, and he made my life very easy. Very, very talented player, very good player. And then we had Edward Duncan on the wings, try scoring machines.
Unreal team.
We had a very nice side.
Yeah.
Then you go to Pumas after that. You guys win the Challenge Cup, and you were Player of the Year, weren't you? As well?
Yeah. So that's where it sort of took off nicely for me. Went to the Pumas. Coach Ben Jans van Rensburg, he was the head coach at the time. I won the Super Sport Challenge. Had quite a nice year. Also, great people around me. Very nice side. And I was fortunate to get Player of the Year there, which was very surprising and just very cool for me. I was probably up until then was probably my biggest rugby achievement. And now being part of a professional setup and first year to get that award was very special and very cool. It's very good.
You've mentioned a couple rugby achievements. The one that sticks out for me is that game at Newlands. Your cross kick to Mark Jansen van Vuren scores the try. We are man down. Jacques Policeman got the red. You kick that, you make the conversion. I mean, it was as difficult as a conversion can get. And I think you had missed a kick to win the game against the Cheetahs like a week or two before that.
Yeah.
So what was going through your head when you...
So we played Cheetahs in Bloem. We had a little bit of a comeback. We scored. So we put over a penalty. Then I think we were within 7. And I think we had a penalty kicked out towards more. We score like on the 15 or just outside, not the hardest kick. And I thought, okay, this is my time to show Coach Zake that I can do this.
Yeah.
They bloody go and pull the kick, so we lose. I think we lose by 2 points. So that kick was to draw it. And then obviously Newlands now, our school just up the road. Hadn't necessarily had the best game leading up until then. I think I'd missed 2 kicks or whatnot. And then second half started with a nice long range penalty, and that's probably where my confidence picked up. Had a bit of a line break later on.
That line break was insane. I'm remembering it now.
But I mean, there, to be honest, I got the ball and I didn't actually know what I was going to do with it. I juggled it.
You can see that on the camera.
Yeah, juggled it and then somehow managed to slip through. Got good momentum. And then we played a bit, and then all just sort of, me and Marky obviously very good friends, so maybe we had a bit of connection there. And managed to execute the cross kick. Scored in the corner. I wish he made it a bit easier for me. And then obviously I had the kick, and also luckily just went over.
You know, because I'm just interested, from the Pumas, and then are we like that call of interest from the Bulls, like who did that come from? And you must have been out of the over the moon when that call of interest came.
Yeah. So I'd actually come on loan here was at the start of 2019 as backup for Moni and Polly. So I was sort of on the side. But yeah, I'd come on loan, which was awesome for me because obviously I was at the Pumas, coming here, Super Rugby. You know, like my thing growing up was once you've played like Super Rugby, you've like made it. That was like my thing. So obviously I was very stoked to be here. Obviously working with these guys here at this big union. And then that was for about 7 weeks. Went back to the Pumas and finished the season there. And then Coach Puerta actually said before I'd left, he said, we're going to give you a ring. We're going to potentially chat to you. So that was quite exciting, and then I went back to the Pumas, finished there, and then managed, and then got the sort of the call and whatnot, and obviously couldn't really say no, and it's definitely the best decision that's ever happened to me.
100%. You become the heir apparent, and number 10 is yours. It's unbelievable, Chris.
Yeah, cheers.
Okay, so speaking of that, you hear now. Speaking of incredible moments, we mentioned it briefly earlier. That drop goal to win and send us through to the semis. Just take us through that moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think about it a lot because it was probably my best memory in rugby. But I can't tell you what I was thinking. I was really shitting myself, to be honest. I didn't actually. I made the forwards go across the field to the left and to the right. I think everyone was saying, Chris, just take it. But I wasn't ready. I know, and I'll tell you in the 2018 Supersport Challenge in the final when we played Griekos for Pumas. We also won with a drop kick, but my friend Justin was starting and took it because I tell you in that moment I wasn't ready. It was my first season of professional rugby. I mean, that kick was right in front, but I wasn't ready to. I said, Jussie, you need to take this one. And he luckily put it over and we won. So,
and was there a regret in your mind stemming from that, for not taking that?
Yeah, probably you want to, but that wasn't my moment. That was his moment. You know what I mean? So if I had taken it, it was probably meant for me, but that time it wasn't for me, and he put it over, and it was unbelievable. It was epic. And then so obviously I'd been through a lot of sort of moments like that in a rugby game, and sort of leading up until then, and I thought, now's my time. I need to take it. And I don't know, the ball dropped a bit funky, but somehow it just managed to sneak through all those Sharks defenders and go over, and it was very cool. I really enjoyed that one.
Would you say that was your most memorable game with the Bulls, for sure?
Yeah, definitely.
That was special.
Yeah, and obviously it gets the Sharks. It's quarterfinal. It's
25,000.
It's a good Shark side. That was very special.
Yeah. And this game on Saturday, Chris. This game on Saturday.
The last one before we get to that. Last one is going to Dublin, beating Leinster in Dublin. I mean, I don't think anyone believed that we could actually do that. Leinster had like a 95% win record or something in the URC. No one believes we're going to go to Dublin and beat them after we got pumped, if you don't mind me saying, in our opening game of the URC against them.
Yeah.
Just that game was just like clockwork.
Yeah. And our forwards obviously rocked up that game. They were awesome that game. And that was probably our best victory as a Bull side. Going, no one backed us. Going to the RDS Dublin and beating a Leinster side, playing all their stars. So that was very special. But our forwards were obviously exceptional that day, and us backs were just very solid. And that was an awesome win.
No, awesome. Yeah, this game on Saturday, because obviously you're from Cape Town, but you become a hero here. You know what I mean? This is your home now.
Yeah.
What does that game mean to you? Bulls with Stormers in. I think it's going to be essentially. I think it could decide positions when it comes to the end.
40,000 people we're looking at.
Yeah. No, it's massive. It's a classic North-South derby. But I think for us, obviously, that's a brilliant Stormers side that have now beaten us 4 on the trot. So for us, it's without giving too much away. It's obviously a massive game for us. And we've had a good few weeks of training. We're well prepared. We've got a good plan. So hopefully we can execute and get a win. It'll be much needed for us, just considering they've beaten us 4 on the trot. So looking forward to it, but it's going to be an absolute monster game and a very tough challenge.
Awesome.
I think we don't have a piece of paper though. I'm going to get you to write it down on my notes.
Okay, cool.
So what we do is we get every player that we have to write down their MVP. So we won't keep it anonymous, so no one at home will know. We'll announce it at the end. So if you can just write down there for me who your MVP is in the team.
I think everyone's going to go for this, dude. No, I feel the forwards always get it. I mean, look at the thing of it back. No, I think no. It's the first word that comes to my head. So
Perfect. Why would you select that player without giving it away?
I mean, I'm going to say one word and everyone's going to know what I'm talking about. I'm going to probably just lead by example. Always in front.
I think that was a stupid question for me. We'll cut that off.
Did I give that away?
Lead by example.
No, but I mean, like, I'm not talking about. I'm not giving it forward. Cut.
Okay, last question. Unless you got another one in the chamber.
No, I'm good.
Okay, last one is what do you hope to achieve here, and how do you want to leave the jersey when you inevitably do leave or retire or whatever? How do you want to leave the jersey in a better place?
Obviously, I'd like to win 1 or 2 more trophies with the Bulls side. I think we have the team and the potential to do that. And in terms of the number 10 jersey, yeah, obviously just give my best week in and week out. Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. Probably, you know, obviously there's been unbelievable 10s that have played in this jersey. Just to be sort of categorized in sort of the same class as them would be enough for me. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's some exceptional 10s before me, and yeah, probably just to be remembered and yeah.
That's a perfect way to end the thing. Stunning. Thank you so much, Chris. It's been unbelievable.
Cheers, guys.
Really
Thanks, sir.
appreciate your time.
100%. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Chris.
Sorry, I was getting. I thought we would cut already. Do you want us to go again? Or?
No, it's fine. It's funny. We'll keep that in. Okay, World Sports Betting segment. Currently, our record stand. Mine is at 9 and 7. Yours is at 7 and 9. So you're making a bit of a comeback now.
Had to.
Okay, I'll just go through mine quickly. And
Last week, I got called a cat for being, but
being
I had
conservative.
to. Yeah, but I had to be.
I went Scotland to beat Wales, got a W there. I went France to beat Ireland, and Ireland pretty much dismantled France.
Yeah.
And then I went England to beat Italy, of course, very conservative bet. And then in the Six Nations, we had no other rugby to bet on. In stark contrast to this weekend, under 20s, I went Ireland to beat France, W there as well. So I went 3-1, 3 wins, 1 loss. I'm pretty chuffed with that return.
Yeah, and Marcus also went 3-1. I went Scotland to beat Wales, as you did. Then I went Ireland to beat France, so I got my W. England to beat Italy, W as you did. And then I got my L in the under 20 game when I went France to beat Ireland. And France were underdogs in that game, and Ireland won. So yeah.
Okay, this weekend there's tons of rugby to bet on. If you're a betting man, you can make some serious cash. Take me through your World Sports betting bets. What are your 4 bets? What's your betting slip looking like?
Yeah, the URC's back, Marky. Ulster, first one. Ulster to beat Glasgow away. They are 2.49 underdogs. I think that is a massive place. I think this weekend, I think the cream might rise to the top markers with these, with the regular big teams. Then I went Edinburgh to beat Scarlets away, 2.11 underdogs. That's massive. I don't know why Edinburgh. Maybe because Scarlets beat the Bulls, but we'll see. Then Sharks to beat Lions away, 1.45 favorites, and then the Bulls to beat the Stormers at home, 1.52 favorites. Marky.
I'm going to kick things off with disagreeing with you. I'm going to go Glasgow to beat Ulster. I think they're at home. As I keep saying, and I said repeatedly, it sounds like a broken record, Glasgow is my sneaky 4th best team in the comp. I think they're going to make it to the semis.
That's why I've got Ulster, Marky, because I've got them on my 4th. It was my 4th, so I need them to beat there.
Clash of the Titans. Clash of the ideologies here is going to be very interesting. In Glasgow, I just think that Glasgow team is so well coached, so well drilled. They've got playmakers everywhere. They are a really, really, really good team, well-coached team. I think Glasgow is going to do it against another good team in Ulster. I've got Edinburgh to beat Scarlets. I think Scarlets overhyped by the bookies because they beat us, even though we arguably should have won that game. Certainly dominated the second half. So I'm going Edinburgh. It's a really good Scottish team with some real playmakers there as well. I'm then going Bulls to beat Stormers. And then I'm going Lions to beat Sharks. That is my big bet of the week. Sharks going to be without a couple main Springboks. Lions should be close to full strength. I don't think Hiku van Wyk is playing, but outside of him, in Johannesburg at altitude, I think the Lions are going to pull a shock and win that one. And that's me.
Yeah, cool.
Great
Big weekend
show.
of rugby.
Huge weekend of rugby. Huge game. Vodacom Bulls, DHL Stormers, North-South Derby, in front of 40,000 people at Loftus Festival. Doesn't get better than that. Yeah, cannot wait. It's going to be a huge one. Listen to BullsEye commentary.
Oh, yeah. What was that?
What was that?
It just came out of nowhere. I'm I was spending too much time with Joey.